Hey, what's up everybody, Fresh again, welcome you back to some more Let's Play Final Fantasy VI. King Edgar, where are you headed, sire? Through the cave and eastward to South Figaro. We'll then make way to return our hideout, return to the castle and pass the word along. Understood, sire, take care. And he hops on the giant and he hops on a giant chicken. By the way, this is recovery spring that recovers MP and HP. Believe me, those are a godsend. So this is another dungeon similar to, if you even want to call it that, like in the first episode where the chest will progress to better items if you leave them. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those because I'm experienced enough to not have to rely on them. I think this one is like the only one here that doesn't get better. I could be wrong. That might be one of them that get better. I'm pretty sure there's one in here that doesn't get better, but I'm going to take that one hoping that it's the one that doesn't get better. And if I'm incorrect, oh well. So, as I started saying in the last episode, we made our way to Figaro Castle, and with Terra, hoping to keep her safe from the Empire, and get attacked by the Empire and the Court Mage of Kefka. Now, I was actually hoping to have some more time to talk about the plot, but it would seem that we're about to get somewhere with a bit more dialogue, so I'm gonna save that for just a bit longer. Because believe me, I do already want to talk about the plot and what we have going. Something that I should bring up briefly is that this is an old school RPG, so when you level up, and also, who is this mysterious character? I'm actually not going to follow him 100%, I'm going to walk in here first. Okay, come on, controls, work with me here. You can gain all kinds of abilities by equipping relics. These shoes double walking speed. So this is our introduction to relics. As we're about to be informed here, relics can grant you a variety of abilities. For example, sprint shoes double your walking speed. A gauntlet lets you hold a weapon with both hands to increase strength. The Knight's Code makes you protect others in combat. Dragon boots allow you to perform a jump attack. A person can equip up to 2 relics at the same time. So, one of the most helpful ones, and the only one I'm going to buy here in the relic shop, is the sprint shoes. As it said, it allows you to increase walking speed. Also, these do not have to be equipped to the one in your party. For instance, I'm equipping them to Terra here. As you see, the whole party acts as they have double walking speed. This only applies in towns and dungeons. It does not apply for the grand overworld. So here's the mysterious character. Let's talk to him. Doesn't seem too talkative, right? Ignore us and maybe we'll just disappear. Back off, Locke. This guy's familiar. Yeah, that's him, alright. He comes and goes like the wind, swearing allegiance to no one. Hidden behind the wintry gaze lies a face known to none who live. And his name is Shadow. That's Shadow. He's an assassin. He'd kill his best friend for the right price. Guess we better steer clear of him then. And also, this backed up by, if you talk to his dog, leave us, the dog eats strangers. Yes, the dog will just full-on eat people. Also, I'd like to briefly bring up the SNES version, where the description of him given is that he'd slit his mother's throat for a nickel. That is how ruthless they had him in the original. Now it just makes him sound like he's greedy because he would kill his own best friend for the right price. Also, this town here is perfect because there's a bunch of items. Check the crates, the barrels, the boxes. I feel like I already said the boxes, but and you can already see. But yeah, you get a lot here, and there's actually a lot more to get. However, it's in a location that's, it's kind of technically spoilers if I was to go there, so we're not gonna go there. We're gonna, one thing I just remembered, actually, I want to equip that Mythro sword that we got from Edgar when we gave him the Mythro spear to Terra, just to give her a little bit bonus attack power when she's not using a sword. But, I feel like I was talking about the items that are technically a spoiler area, because we're going to be back here before long. But, like, if I was playing by myself, I would go ahead and grab those, just because I don't care about being spoiled. I really can't be spoiled. But since I'm doing it as a Let's Play, I'm going to leave them be and get them when we actually are supposed to go through there. Now, this is a nice little place out here, so we're gonna go ahead and go in and... What's that smell? These flowers, you always love these. And if you sleep here, you get a full HP MP recovery. This is why I did not stop at the inn while we were in town. These dishes, it's just like the ones he always used. This tea was his favorite. Potion there in the bucket. And when we go to leave, Edgar comes back in alone. Could Sabin be living here? Ah. Hey. Do you happen to know where we could find the man who lives here? Why, sure do. Left a couple days ago, soon as he heard Master Duncan had been killed, headed up into the mountains. They say Duncan's son Vorgus is missing too. I don't like this one bit. And he leaves behind the back. I'm following you, old man. I don't trust you. Alright, so we're told he went to mountains, so let's go ourselves into mountains. Okay, I think I can actually start talking about the plot now. Actually, one quick thing before I get into the plot. My biggest advice for anybody playing along with this game is that you don't have to grind as long as you don't run from fights. Of course, you must be careful in the fights, but don't run from any of them. If you get in a fight, fight it, get the experience, and you will be fine. Also, I think as I started to say when we went into Figaro, this is an old school RPG. Your HP and MP are not restored upon leveling up, so you do have to keep a conscious eye on the MP and HP, even while leveling up. You'll stay as you ward. You don't even get the boosts that it raises the base from. So this is why you got to be extremely careful in dungeons, and also why I recommend keeping a tent at least on hand. I only bought one in Figaro, and if you're wondering why I would only buy one, or at Figaro Castle, and if you're wondering why I only bought one, there is a chest in the dungeon that gives you a tent, so it is perfectly free and you only need one. Alright, so with all that said, the mouthful and 5 others that was, about the plot of the game. We have Terra, who is clearly somebody who likes to be moral, but it doesn't seem like she exactly knows what the moral choice is from her conversation with Locke in her room when Edgar had Locke take her to a room. You see that just up there, we're about to get that. And then here it is. They say it's her choice, but they're kind of also giving her pushes towards, we know how bad the Empire is, tag along, find out about your abilities, and gain stuff from our perspective. Of course, she really doesn't know a perspective of the Empire, so she's kind of being forced in their own way while they're trying not to force. but also it's with a mortally confused character, so that's why I'd say she's going along with it. She doesn't have anything to specifically cling to, so she is clinging to that. Here's a item, Mangache, which is a weapon for Locke. Only, well, I did not equip it. Come on, let's equip. Yes, thank you. So there's her who's confused, and you have these two that are clearly anti-Empire supporters, really actually pushing her towards being anti-Empire. But since she has no memories, has nothing to cling to, she knows that she's, whoa, stole bandana. I think that's like the first time I actually successfully stole from these guys. But, so to me at least, that's how I interpret it, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Besides, she doesn't know what's right, so she's going with the flow as it is now. Gigas Club. This increases physical attack power, so basically the way I understand it is anything that's not magic. Anyway, so it just makes this interesting thing from the start, especially where you find out that during the War of the Magi, there was mistakes made involving magic, and there was stupidity on humanity's part, and towards the end of that opening narrative dialogue that we get, there's a question of, would anybody be foolish enough to repeat it? And from what we already know of from Terra's story and the Empire's goals, I would say yes is the silent answer. We don't fully get the answer of yes from the narrator, but it's a yes given to us through the story. And here, like you just may have saw, Terra level up, she did not get any more MP, and we also just see a dark figure. Now, in terms of magic, I say keep it. Try not to use it out of battle. I think I already did that once earlier this episode. And I used high potions because I didn't sort before healing with items. So that's wasted items on my part. But they exploited somebody with magical talents in the form of Terra, so we have the answer of yes already. We just have to wait for more of the plot to find out to what great extent the yes is and what is involved in that yes. Because there's a lot more than just, oh yeah, we're going to make it's not so much. Well, actually, yes, it is. Yes, we're going to make that mistake. And despite the knowledge and charge ahead, but believe me, it's not like in the end there's this, oh well, I was actually in the wrong. No, when you sorry about the notification. When you find out to basically this whole world, if you watch through it, even the good guys have some morally morally questionable. Like, you know, there's Edgar and Locke saying, oh, we don't want to force you, but also, really, we're all screwed unless you side with us, so we kind of are forcing you. That makes them feel human. I've heard far too many times in fiction that, you know, I guess apparently characters are supposed to be Jesus types and not make any wrong decisions. But who is the shadowy figure? And is it Sabin? Is it perhaps Vargas? Well, that's all great questions that you'll have to stay tuned and find out in the next episode. So I will be catching you guys then.